Flowers die in 3 days. Matching underwear from MeUndies? That's a gift that lasts. MeUndies creates matching prints for couples and friends, same adorable designs in different cuts for each of you. All made from their signature ultra-modal fabric that feels impossibly soft. With 30 million pairs sold and 90,000 five-star reviews, MeUndies matching prints are the perfect gift. Valentine's Day is February 14th, so don't wait. Get exclusive deals up to 50% off at MeUndies.com/comfort, code COMFORT. That's MeUndies.com/comfort, code COMFORT.
Welcome to the Secret Keepers podcast with your host, Kareen Zutleger. Join us as we uncover the hidden thoughts, stories, and moments that help bring light to the healing power of truth and examine how silence can affect us mentally, physically, and spiritually. We'll also share profound stories, interviews, and transformative narratives to help release ourselves from the hidden and step into healing towards inner peace, joy, and fulfillment. Now, here's your healing strategist and host, Kareen.
Welcome to the Secret Keepers podcast. And today my guest is Theresa Menting, and I'm going to have her tell you a little bit about herself.
Why, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Theresa Menting, and I am the executive director of We EmpowHER, which is a nonprofit in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and growing to help serve on a larger scale with different communities throughout the state of Wisconsin. So we're really excited to be expanding primarily in Green Bay. So yeah, super exciting. We'll be launching there in 2026 officially. So that will be a big leap for us. We also do the Wisconsin Her Day at the Oshkosh Herd, and are working on assisting other sports teams with some empowering days as well. So very exciting. I am a mom of 3 beautiful children, Lila, Leo, and Elsie. And I recently am engaged and will be a stepmama to Franklin James as well. So my life has lots of experience in lots of different things intertwined, from owning an event company and voice and studio and directing and music and all of those things. But the stars and the universe brought me into this place of serving. And so I feel whenever someone asks about who I am or what I've done or my experience, it's present. And those other things have defined and helped mold and create who I am. I really am blessed to be where I'm at right now.
Yes, and it's so awesome to watch you do what you do. I have taken part in some of the programs that you have as a mentor and participant in doing some teaching, and it really is incredible to see the difference that you're making and the impact. So everybody out there needs to make sure that when she drops her links at the end of this, that you go and you follow to watch the work that she's doing. So Theresa, I know like you just have so much wisdom from your life, and that's my tagline, right? Learning from life, leading with love, and that is absolutely you to the T. Tell the audience just a little bit about what brought you to the Secret Keepers, and a little bit about your own story.
Yeah, absolutely. Personally, I think that is where what has defined and decided where my life was going to go, right? Was my own story, but it was unknown to me at the time. Sure. When I was creating women's empowerment series, Now We Empower. And through the struggles and the things that I was going through, the self-discovery, the trauma healing, the healing as I'm helping serve others,
Sure.
all of those things were unfolding. And I really think that we have to be more open and honest about, we all struggle. We all have a lot more things in common than we do that are different. We do have differences, but our hurt and our feelings all can come just as much and can relate just as much. And I think with my own personal journey through years of a very difficult relationship, through domestic violence and more emotional, and a partner that struggled with addiction, to many other different things with my event company. I went through a lot of a different court things with that, and trust, where there was identity theft and all of that kind of stuff. And
Oh my
so
goodness.
when you take all of those things, right, and it could be something that completely defines you, or something that tears you down, or something that you could fall right into victim. I always had to turn it around and say, what am I learning from this? And
Yes.
what is it making me realize that I can now help someone else with? I always have to turn it back into a lesson. What is this lesson? What is the lesson that I'm learning here? And how do I stop and pause? And for so long in my life, I was going a million miles a minute, and I still do, but I'm older, so I'm
Wiser.
not as fast, you know, but I'm more thoughtful and intentional. And I also am not quick to react. I think that quick to fix versus quick to react, I think those are different things. Being able to uh, adjust the fires and think quick on your feet versus
Sure.
overreacting and letting emotions take over. But I will say that I really struggled with Women's Empowerment Series and We Empower. I did a TED Talk in 2016, I believe it was. Nope, 2019. Don't quote me on that.
Okay. You did a TED Talk.
I
That's all
did
that
a TED Talk. I also had a couple kids in between there. So these brain cells, like the mommy brain thing, is real. So when I did this TED Talk, I shared about how sharing your story can be the key to somebody else's shackles.
matters.
And this discovery that I had of creating Women's Empowerment Series, and how many people just feel alone. They feel like they don't have anybody that can relate to them. And even if they have an amazing support system, they may feel like this isn't something they can share with that group of people, or they don't want to feel that judgment. Not that they don't respect them, but they know that the relation of what they need to be able to get ahead isn't going to relate in that way. And so we can help, we can be there and support someone that we love as much as we possibly can. But sometimes it's not even us that can be the one that's that key. It needs to be someone they can relate to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just kind of want to go back to, because you talked about being intentional,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, often people don't realize what I found any in my own experience is that the intention behind anything, what drives us to do what we do, that energy behind it, behind that intention, is what is the cause. Because you are causative, you're a causative being. So my intention behind something is really, and the energy behind it is what gives us the effect of what happens.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily recognize that. So as we're kind of randomly going through life and not being intentional, we don't see. But then when that awareness gets woken up in you and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, so let's shift this a little bit. And you were very intentional in your shifts and what you were doing. And then also wanting to bring this to other women and help them with their voice. As somebody that also helps women with their voice,
Yeah.
like very relatable, and understanding that, like what you said, that not everybody understands that they can get the help because the awareness isn't there. It can seem obvious to us because we've walked this journey,
Mhm.
but when you're in the thick of it, or maybe you lack the awareness of what else is possible. And I think there's just like shame and guilt and,
Absolutely.
and that all the self-blame and the self-loathing and in all of those things that we tend to turn inward as women. um, it gets overwhelming, right? And so often, right, we can go into the various trauma responses, the fight, flight, freeze, and then fawn, right? And overwhelm is essentially is a fawn state. It's where I completely shut down because I don't know which direction to go. And what you're doing is you're helping women be able to tell their story in like you said, free them, from those chains. And when we do that, right, we become part of the solution. We can see things and go, oh, not my problem. I talk about this with young people. Not my kid, not my problem really kind of became a theme,
Mhm.
but there is no truth to that because
Right.
every child is everybody's problem, if you will, every child.
Absolutely.
And I believe that with women, and not even just with women, right? In general, like us as humans, when we lose that ability to connect with each other, connection is so important. And women often are afraid to say to another woman, hey, like, this is happening at my house because of the fear, right? The fear of judgment. Will I
Yeah.
be even the fear of rejection, right? Like you might reject me because I'm telling you this is happening at my house.
Mm.
And I talk a little bit about like what your experience was like because you've walked this journey and you talk about your ex and in the things that you went through in that relationship, and you have gleaned a ton of wisdom from that experience in and of itself. Talk about that a little bit.
It's funny because I'm just getting over that, right? And we just completed series 8. My first year of the series, I was up there leading these women and going home to the
Mm,
same sort of not healthy relationship. But in my mind, I didn't see that as a similarity, right? I
okay.
was like, he's struggling with addiction, he's struggling with alcohol. He would tell me, no, I'm not. You're crazy, right?
Okay, sure.
So, which is a very, very narcissistic, common thing that a lot of our women face, because then it's, why is she staying? Well, she's
Mm,
staying because she's now thinking it's her fault, or she's starting to think things, she's seeing things. So I would go home to this and think, okay, if he can just get into treatment, we're going to help him, we're going to support him, we're going to be there for him, we're going to do all of these things. It's going to fix XYZ.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
it was like an escape, right? Like when you're sick, you want to help instead of focusing on you, you focus on all the others.
sure.
And so I was focusing on everyone else. It actually is what kept me alive, because I was able to continue to use, I wouldn't say that no one knew, right?
Yeah.
The women didn't know. And even when I went on that TED Talk stage and talked about the sexual abuse and all of the trauma from the past, I felt like an imposter because
Mm,
I'm living in that domestically abusive relationship then. And so throughout the years, all of this goes on. 2.5 years ago is when I thought everything was starting to get better. About
mm,
3 years, I would say about 3 years ago. And I was blindsided. I was 6 weeks pregnant. My ex left me. We got day after we got back from Disney World with our kids. We made our announcement, didn't post anything yet. But we took our pictures and we told the kids. And it was just such a beautiful time. And I thought he was kidding when he said this. And then I went into this anger. I was so mad that I was behind him
Yeah.
for every single moment, and the worst moments. And he's leaving me?
Mm.
What?
Yeah.
Are you? I'm pregnant. I couldn't believe it. And found out there was another person, and it my entire world was completely, I didn't even know what was up, what was down, what was left, what was right. I had no idea. And I know you have been to Sarah Bondar's conferences before,
Mhm.
and it was 4 days before one of her conferences that everything just came down. And my intern said, "No, you're still going. You need to go. I'll drive." And I went, and I cried, I prayed, I just sat there, and I told myself, I'm going to just be a participant.
Mhm.
I'm going to allow the universe to help me heal right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stop trying to direct the narrative.
Ah, it sounds like surrender.
It's
Is that
surrendering.
yes.
It is surrendering, because
Mm.
for so long it was like, okay, so this isn't working, so I'm going to fix it. I'm a fixer, and we're going to fix it, and it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It wasn't working. My fixing was not fixing. It didn't
Well,
matter how much duct tape I had in my pocket, the
yeah.
tape wasn't fixing. So we have to, I had to stop. And I realized that because
Mhm.
I was in this just whirlwind of life, right? Like when you're in fight or flight mode and you're just trying to, your personal life is like this, it's hard for the rest of your life to have that, even the ebbs and flows to be like this. And if
Sure.
ebbs and flows are like this, that's when you have bigger
Yeah.
crashes.
Yeah.
And we needed to bring it back to this, right? Just the little waves.
Yeah.
So I know that my relationships with my family, I know my relationships with myself, I know
Mhm.
the relationships with everybody around me. It was always in my, I mean, how I'm perceiving it was crisis. It was crisis and um not being present. And so when I started to be able to heal and not victimize myself, because I wasn't a victim, I was choosing to be in certain positions.
Mhm.
And I couldn't stay there any longer. Yes, I was a victim of domestic violence. I was a victim of those things, but I'm not any longer.
Yeah.
And I'm choosing that.
Right. That's such an
I'm
important distinction,
mhm,
Teresa,
mhm.
is that you made the choice to move from the victim to now being the teacher, right? You get to be the teacher, healer, mentor because of the life experience that you have, and that's so beautiful. And I've seen that, and I and I'm just curious because when you think of your life now and where your life is at, what would be the main word that would come to mind for you?
Blessed.
Last, oh, I love that. It gave me tingles all over my body. It's so beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And you came through this. Talk us through a little bit of what your healing journey looked like, because I found what the most fascinating thing is that everybody walks a little bit different journey. Um, and I like to have the listeners be able to say, oh, like, maybe that resonates with them to go that path. So walk us a little bit through like what your healing journey looked like.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part of the whole thing, right? It's how you transition to the next stage of your life. One, the first and foremost thing is I needed to apologize to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had to apologize to myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to stop being upset with myself or blame myself.
Mm.
When you go through that, you aren't the same person. You say things, you do things,
Ooh,
you are protecting yourself.
sure,
It's like the abused little dog, right? That just nips.
sure.
And you are sitting there just not unsure of even what's going on, who you are, where you are, what is happening. So I had to apologize to myself. I had to rebuild my confidence in my parenting. I
Okay.
remember um, constantly saying to some of the ladies here at We Empower, I just don't know how to be a present mom. I can't
Okay.
be present. I would be home, and I was always my mind was always everywhere else, trying to fix everything.
Sure, sure.
And I could be doing a million things with them, but I was constantly thinking of the next thing with them, or how I'm going to help them. And and when I wasn't at home, I was always shaming myself for not being at home. So I had to build up that confidence in my parenting, but also start understanding and getting advice on how to deal with the kids or my children who've been through trauma. Because
Okay.
my children have been through this, and there's things that they've seen,
Sure.
and they are not my therapists.
No.
They're not my best friends.
Oh, they're not. Right.
They're my children.
Mhm.
And so I need to know age appropriately how to communicate what they experienced through them to them. And so every single one of us have gone through intensive therapy. I think that that's first and foremost therapy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus, is a great thing. And I think that it's so unfortunate that it's so hard to get into, especially in a crisis situation. And that's why programs like this are so important, so that, a lot of times you don't have a therapist, you're not going to see a provider for months to even get into one.
Right.
So, like, how can we take those steps and get you connected with other people that are like-minded and or gone through similar things? The next thing that I needed to do was I needed to apologize to those, apologize and thank those that were with me in the journey.
Okay.
And because they saw, I, and I say that, I know apologizing, don't say sorry, don't whatever, is a big thing, right? Don't apologize for who you are. I know a lot of those things are very important, but I wanted to make sure, I know that some people were in this journey and had to experience not the best Theresa.
Yeah, and I think that's okay though. Like I cancel culture, social media stuff, sometimes, they really get off on the wrong, like the wrong thing, right? There's this, I actually was just creating a post for this, but there's the individual, your identity, and then there's individualism, right? And by there are times when we get to apologize because we
Mhm.
showed up poorly. If I blow up at somebody and have a reaction, that is on me and I get to apologize. Now, I'm not going to apologize for showing up wearing this dress or my hair the way I do, or for loving classic rock as a female. I mean, I love classic rock, right? That there's a huge difference in that, right? So I hear what you're saying. It's like, no, you took what I hear is you held yourself accountable for your actions. And that goes to your integrity, Theresa, as a human. And you go then forth and teach that sort of integrity to the women that you're working with, because it's like self-forgiveness, forgiveness of others. Yes, it's very important. And then personal accountability. Like I
Mhm.
did this thing. I sat down with our kids too. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I did these things and I see them now. And I want you guys to know I hold myself accountable for that. So yay you, because it's like that's a really big thing. And for you to go now about and teach that to the other women, yes, we get to hold ourselves accountable. It's beautiful.
Well, and I think when you do have those conversations with your family or your friends that were there for you, right? They weren't there for you with a I'm here for you, but or
Yeah.
I'm here for you and I need this.
Yeah.
They were here for you while you're sobbing and crying and hysterical and may have been short with them or any of these things. And they understood,
Sure.
right?
Mhm.
But I know through my healing, me apologizing and take accountability for that and saying, I recognize and I
Yeah.
know that I was going through these things. And so that was part of my healing journey.
Yeah.
And it actually created such a great amount of bond with and open conversations
Mhm.
because, many, it was, you don't need to apologize. But it also opened the conversation to where they were able to honestly tell me how it was perceived in their side. And
Okay.
I liked learning from that as well.
Absolutely. He who or she who has the most perspectives wins, because that's where empathy and compassion is built from. When I can look through the lens of somebody else and see, because
Mhm.
I can walk around in my own little bubble and pretend that nobody else exists, or I can open myself up to the other possibilities. And so good for you. That's amazing. Good stuff there.
Thank you. And I think another thing is I had to recognize what should I stop investing my energy into?
Okay.
I had some really great women who told me people are going to talk. You're getting a divorce, I'm pregnant. I mean, people are going to say things.
Mhm.
It's going to hurt.
Mm.
And you can either go out there and blast everything out there. I mean, this is the first time I'm publicly saying anything. And I don't have ill feelings towards Andrew. I know that he can be a very amazing dad and a very good guy. And there is going to be someone that he will find. And I hope that through that, it sparks that relationship with all of the family, right? Because we are going to be co-parents for a very long time.
Yes, till you die.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want it to be a good relationship.
Mhm.
But I also know if people are going to talk and I can either sit here and say, wow, you have no idea what happened and you don't even understand the first thing that I went through.
Mhm.
I don't need to do that
No.
because me as a human, if I experienced or heard something that something happened in someone else's personal life, I would go have a conversation with that person
Sure.
and I would just get to know them myself. And I think that that's a big thing as well is you cannot change someone else's actions, reactions, or feelings.
Right.
It's
Opinions. I mean,
or
people have.
opinions.
Right?
It's I can all I can do is control how I react.
Yep. Like
And Oh, I hold space for it. And am I going to hold space for it?
Sure. Well, and remind yourself too, I mean, judgment is human nature.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to judge. People be judging all the time, right? People be people and
People be people and
people be people and right. I don't have to step into that space. And in knowing too, right? If I react, it really is something for me to look at if I'm having a reaction to it. When you grow through it, it's easier to respond because you're saying, you know what, this is just my life. You can have your opinions or your judgments. Those are yours and yours to have. And it's not my job to fix that either, right? It's not my job to tell you how to think or feel or what people's belief systems, the things that are out there. We can toss around all the stuff, but at the end of the day, people are going to people. And
people are
we
good
get
people.
to, but what I get to do is really hone into my own, how do I show up in the world? What is the energy I'm bringing into a space? When I'm before they say your energy precedes you, right? So before I walk into a room, people can feel me. I hope that what you feel before I walk in the room is the love that I radiate, because that is my
Absolutely.
purpose in life, right? It's like, I hope that you can feel my little ET heart light. Well, it's actually pretty big, but my ET heart light beaming. And for those of you who don't know who ET is, please look it up online because
I
if you're
love
that
ET.
but that is literally how I live my life because I think if I can radiate out love, people will pick up on that energy and that lifts people. And I could judge, and I have to reel her in. I call her Judy. I have all these little names for my little people that live inside of me, and Judy is my judge. Judy is like, oh, like that. When that pops up, and now I call her out. I say, oh, Judy, right? Because now it's an awareness, right? Now it's an awareness of what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Sometimes vicious Victoria shows up, like she's like catty and just right? And I'm like, listen, Vicky, like you need to sit her down, right? And it's a way of recognizing, and it all goes back into this awareness level. And you have taken your awareness and turned it into these great programs. And what I want you to talk about right now for the audience is what We Empower Her it is, because many of the listeners are worldwide, and so they don't necessarily know what your org does.
Yeah. Okay. So We Empower is really, we bridge that gap between all those other services. We are here to create a sisterhood, to create a commonality, to tell people that they are not alone. It doesn't matter how much money you make.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what your skin color is. It doesn't matter where you live or if you don't have a home. And it doesn't matter what your status or title or how many years in school you went. Domestic violence doesn't discriminate. Mental health doesn't discriminate. Sexual abuse doesn't discriminate. Childhood trauma doesn't discriminate.
Right.
All of these things in our lives, we could have, I've met people that literally said, I've never gone through anything in my life. I don't know. I just don't know. It's either might be true, or they also have blocked some of that out, right?
Sure. Mhm.
And that, which is a real thing as well. But all of these things can affect everybody. And we need to be able to find, how can this CFO of this company relate to this woman that's a stay-at-home mama, single mom, barely able to keep it going? How can they relate together? And how can they find common ground to support each other? In the workplace, when you see one of your employees that's struggling and you're like, they're just not performing well. Is it that they're not performing well? Is it that they don't care? Are they doing a terrible job? Or are they struggling at home? What,
Yes, that's a
what
big thing,
it
right?
is a big thing.
It
And
is.
so we do have virtual classes, the Empowerment Exchange. We have virtual speakers that can come on as well. But we have a 12-week series where we pair women with mentors. And it is very thought out. I mean, it is not just like, oh, well, you and you. Okay.
Yeah.
It is literally a process with a team of people and going through every single thing from their background, their history, their beliefs, their experiences, and really being intentional. We have a volunteer work program for women who struggle and they may not want to go into the public and wanted to stay home,
Mm,
but yet they really struggle with FOMO.
okay.
And so how can we integrate getting volunteering into the community or volunteering here and building up that self-esteem and feeling great about yourself for giving back, but also then earning points for household items and Christmas gifts and birthday gifts. We have our Her Day, Wisconsin Her Day, which we're at the Oshkosh Arena with the Wisconsin Herd. We have our programming expanding. So right now we're looking for pledges for Juliana Dancing with Our Stars. It's a fundraiser in Green Bay. So she's going to be dancing, and all of that money goes to programming and expanding in the Fox Cities, Green Bay. So this will be like our trial of how we can expand and serve on a larger scale in person. But we have programs for moms and kids. We have a Mommy and Me series. We have Healthy Habits. We have a Better Days support group. We have a grief support group. We have, and they're very activity based too. So these groups, it's not just coming together and just talking. Like our grief support group actually put together cold and flu kits for all of the women at Christmas time.
Oh,
And so
nice.
all the women and their kids got these cold and flu kits with like all the cold and flu medicine and Kleenexes and sanitizing wipes and cough drops and throat sprays and all of the things. But they do project based together in that group. And it's really cool to see that.
I love that.
But we're here to serve, and whatever that may be, however that may be. Even our Empowerment Exchange year one, we were worldwide. And we really read what the world needs and bring in speakers based on what those needs are. So those are accessible to anybody. But we're always adaptable. We want We Empower to be a platform for people to grow, to learn. We have virtual volunteers from all over. We have interns from all over, which is really amazing. So it is really special when you can feel like you can be a piece of that puzzle, and no matter what that is. So one thing that I do strive with We Empower and through my healing journey, I knew that the women look up so much to those that are in leadership or in the staff roles. So we're all part-time. We have a small team. And I know that we need to have that connection in sisterhood and lead by example.
Yes.
Our friendship, our connection, our growth, our relationships is viewed by them, but also our board. And so our board of directors is just as close as our staff. And we have
Okay.
women from all over. And I think that that's one thing that really has changed within We Empower too, was leading from the top and
Beautiful.
recognizing those spaces, knowing that not everything's going to be perfect,
Right.
knowing that we have to be adaptable, knowing that change is good, and knowing that everybody has a voice. And so it has really formed into this beautiful relationship of our board and our staff. And when I say blessed, I'm blessed in my relationships. I'm blessed in my staff. I'm blessed with my volunteers. I'm blessed with the women we serve. I'm blessed with my children. I'm
Yes.
blessed with peace.
They're Beautiful. I love that word. Mm.
I know, peace. Doesn't that just, I remember begging God for peace. I said,
Mm.
I just want peace. Dear
Yeah.
Lord, I just want peace.
Yeah. So, yeah. And here you are. So looking over everything and at this point in your life, what would be your big golden nugget that you want to leave the audience with? Your big takeaway from everything that this is what they really need to help advance them in their own life.
If you think it and you dream it, or you think it could be possible, you need to do it.
Well, I
You
love
never can go back. You can't, you don't get a second chance to try it again.
Mhm.
The shoulda, woulda, couldas, make those dreams into reality. And even if the reality for me, we empower growing is my dream. We empower being here is my dream. I don't have dreams and visions of being a millionaire. I make the same amount, whether we have this much money or this much money. But I just know my dream is to touch so many women and to change so many lives. And so don't settle on that. But also, if you can't see why your dream isn't able to come to fruition, stop and address those issues that are holding you back.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we don't necessarily know what they are, but we can start peeking under the hood, so to speak, and take a look. So, but thank you so much for sharing
Thank
that. And
you.
Teresa, if the audience wants to get in touch with you, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go on our We Empower website, www.weempowher.org. We have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You can also email me, Theresa, Theresa, at weempowher.org. Uh, I'm on social media, Theresa Ann, Anne. Uh, you'll find me. Feel free to reach out. I always am up for a conversation. I love to get to know people. I love to help navigate. I'm a problem solver, a fixer, a connector. I love connecting people. So, yeah, reach out.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. I am a connector as well. So it's in my numerology. Um,
Yes.
that's a whole nother show. Well, thank you so much for being here
Thank
today
you.
and for sharing all of your wisdom with us here at the Secret Keepers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining the Secret Keepers podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please give us a like and follow so we can invite you back. And if you just want more, visit CorrineZuleger.com. Remember, you're not alone.